In this video, I'm going to show you how to log back into TheraP and to enter daily documentation for a skill building objective. What you're going to do is go to your tab that says TheraP, click on your tab. If the program hasn't timed you out, then you should be on your dashboard. If you're not on your dashboard, then this is going to say that you've been timed out of TheraP, and what you simply need to do is log back in. So if you need to log back in, make sure that you click on the button that says log back in, enter your username, your password, and the provider code, and click log in. Go to the bottom of the screen and then click on the button that says dashboard, and it should bring you to this page that I'm showing right now. Remember, mine looks a little bit different because I have a few more things than you do, but that'll bring you back to something similar to this. Once you've done that, make sure that you go down and again put yourself into test mode. So go to settings, test mode, and on. Now, if you already have the button up here with the exclamation point that says test mode, then you don't need to do this. Just stay on the same page. If you do have to, though, go to settings, click on test mode. Once you've done that, you're going to go to individual. We're going to be logging a daily document or our daily documentation for Skip Dodge under his skill building objective. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to ISP data new, and we're going to click on new. You're then going to look for test day support because that's the first note that we're going to be writing on. And I'm looking here, I don't have it, so I need to go to my next section. And right here you'll see where it says you have test day support, test group home, test in home, and then test sponsored. For the very first example that you're going to be practicing, we want to go to test group home. You will have access to whoever you work with. So for instance, if you're working in a residential home, this will list the residential home that you're working in, so it might say Serenity Residential. If you're working in day support, you'll have access to all the day support individuals at whatever site you're working for. So that'll already be set up for you, and you can just click on the one that applies when you're doing this in real life. So let's go ahead and click on Test Day Support. And we want to document on Skip Dodge. In real life, if you were to click on day support, you would get a list of all of the individuals that you work with in day support, and you would simply click on the person that you're responsible for documenting on during that shift. But for test purposes, we're going to be using Skip. So we simply click on Skip, and we want to document on his skill building beer making. Now notice Skip has a skill building beer making, he has a safety support, which is a fall risk, he has some routine supports, and he has a skill building staying on task. We want to click on the one that says skill building beer making because that's the one we're going to practice on. So go ahead and click on that. Once you do this, it will already be defaulted to today's date because we are assuming that you're going to be writing documentation at the end of each shift. It will not let you write into the future, so you cannot select a date for tomorrow, but it will let you backdate your documentation. Now be aware that if you forget to document before the end of your shift, you can receive corrective action for that. And TheraP will notify us if you go to backdate information. So it's really important that you follow the policies and write your documentation before you leave your shift every day. Before I get ready to document on this skill building objective for Skip, the first thing that I need to do is I need to learn about Skip. Let's say this is the very first time that I'm working with him and I'm not really sure what exactly I need to document. What you're going to do is click on this link right here. Notice it's in blue. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring up the part 5 of the individual support plan that directly relates to this skill building objective. It's going to give me a description of the program. So here we have the program that it's being provided in is day support. The individual's name is Skip Dodge. The program name is skill building for beer making. You don't really have to worry about these creation dates, but we want to look at his long-term objective. His long-term objective is that DSPs will help me build my beer making skills. So that's what he's ultimately trying to achieve by doing this. The reason that he wants to do this is because Skip wants to be the world's best beer maker. Pretty cool. Now we know what we're working towards. You don't really need to worry about the maximum number of times or the frequencies. The locations, we're working on this objective with him at home and in the community. We're hoping that he has, reached his criteria by 4/10/16 Typically, your completion dates are written for a year, and then they seem to change once a year, make them a little bit harder, or we may change them, depending on what the person's retained with the skill. The criteria for completion is when Skip no longer needs this activity, when he wins a medal for making the best beer. So that's how we know that he doesn't need the skill building objective anymore. All right, supplies or materials required, that's important to know. Do I need to have certain things to help this person to achieve this objective? And that's going to be listed in your materials. So make sure that you have these materials on hand before you're working with the individual. And for Skip, we just need various beer making supplies. And we come down here to task, which is what I showed you in a previous slide, and this is your description of what we're going to count as an attempt and a success for this objective. So again, an attempt is any time that you, the DSP, encourage him to research, learn about, or work on beer making. And then in your progress note, you want to document what you did. Did you introduce something new? Take me somewhere to get information, encourage me to do work, etc., etc. And then how did he respond? Remember, we document what we did and how the person responded to what we did. And then the success, the criteria for that is to count as a success when I spend a total of 1 hour a day on making beer. That's important to know because I need to list approximately how much time I spent on each attempt I made so that I can make sure that he spent a total of 1 hour. Now notice this doesn't say that I spent a total of 1 consecutive hour. It just says 1 total hour, which means throughout the entire 6-hour shift, did he spend at least 1 hour making beer? He doesn't have to stay on task for an entire hour. But some objectives will say that. Some objectives in their criteria may say the person has to spend 1 consecutive hour working. And that's why it's so critical, and I keep stressing that you read the criteria before you document. And then you're just going to document exactly what I did and how you supported me, include your locations and how long I worked on each skill. So anytime that you need more information about what you're documenting on, you can click on that blue link to bring you to this page that's going to give you that part 5. Also, teaching methods are pretty important. This doesn't have a teaching method developed for training purposes, but typically the training method or teaching method is going to tell you the best way to get a person encouraged to work on this objective, the best times, different ways that you can present it to the person. So it's going to be very person-centered and instructions for you on how to accomplish this outcome. All right, so that's that portion. When you're done looking at the part 5 for the objective that you're getting ready to document on, you simply come up and use the X button and just exit out, and it'll bring you back to your page for your data collection. When I get ready to write my daily documentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is set on the date that I want to document for. Remember, I cannot document into the future, but I can document into the past if I needed to. But again, the system's going to let us know that you've done that. So I'm just making sure that it's set for the correct day, and once that's correct, I'm going to come over and hit submit. And this is what your skill building data collection will look like. You're going to come here, and again, if I get to this point and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot what I'm supposed to write, I don't remember what the objective actually was for Skip, you can still come up here where it's highlighted blue and you can pull that part 5 back up. So at any time during your documentation, if you need a little more help or you need to figure out what you should count as an attempt or success, you can pull that part 5 up again at any time. And then when you're done with it, just simply exit out. So here I have the date, the location. Did we do this in the community or did we do it at his home? And for this example, I'm just going to simply write home. So we did this at home. This will automatically be defaulted to my name. So entered by will be me, service provided will be me. When you're writing yours, your name will show up here with your title. You're then going to scroll down and it'll give you your task scores here, and it says beer making attempt. Count as an attempt anytime you encourage me to research, learn about, or work on beer making, and then document the following. So what you're going to do first is come over here and think about a number. So for this example, we'll say we worked on it 5 times. Okay, and I simply just enter a number in there. I made 5 attempts to encourage Chip, or I helped him research, or I helped him learn about beer making during my shift. Then a success, I'm going to think, well, did he spend a total of 1 hour? Nope, not this time. He did do some of the stuff, but it wasn't a total of a whole hour. So I'm going to put 0 here for successes. Then I need to come down and write a narrative. Where it says billable, this document is always billable, so do not change that. It's already been defaulted to that. And then I'm going to write my progress note. Again, remember, in my progress note, I need to prove what I did to run the objective as outlined, and then I need to document what the individual's response is to what I tried. So my comment section may say something like this. This DSP work on beer making. Skip crossed his arms and said, "Not now." Okay, I'm going to finish this note. I'm going to go ahead and finish this note on my own real quick, and then I will read it to you. So you're going to see it kind of pop up here in just a minute. So, okay, this is just going to appear. Hopefully I left off at the right place. But you're going to go ahead and write your narrative. And again, in your narrative, you want to make sure that you support all of your attempts. So if I write, I attempted 5 times, I, the DSP, attempted 5 times to run this objective as outlined, in my narrative, I have to write 5 different things that I did to either encourage or to help him research or to teach him about beer making. And then I have 0 successes, so I need to make sure in here it also captures why there's 0 successes. So this is what my example of a note sounds like. This DSP asked Skip if he wanted to work on beer making. That's 1 attempt. Skip crossed his arms and said, "Not now." So you notice I did the attempt and then I did the person's response to what I tried. Skip was talking about buying a tubing kit from Beer Mart. This DSP asked him if he wanted to research the tubing kit on the internet. That's my 2nd attempt. And what was his response? Skip researched the item while this DSP helped him find the correct letters on the keyboard to type in. So helping him find the correct letters is another attempt, so that's 3. This took about 15 minutes. Skip discovered that the item he was looking for was in stock at Beer Mart and found that he had enough money to pay for it. This DSP helped Skip count his money for a total of about 5 minutes, so there's my 4th attempt. This DSP asked Skip if he wanted to go to Beer Mart to make the purchase, and Skip stated after dinner and stated that he had already planned for JS, another DSP, to take him when she arrived on her shift, and that's my 5th attempt. And it's 0 successes because even though we worked on it, it was not a total of 1 hour. Okay, so there you have it, an example of how to enter in your documentation. Once you've entered in your numbers and you've written your narrative, you're simply going to click on Save. And it'll take you to a page that looks like this. If I want to enter more data for this ISP, I can click on this, which is going to bring me back to skill building again. Or from that previous page, I can just simply click on my dashboard. So again, we'll do ISP data new. I'm looking for Skip. So I'm going to do test day support, clicking on Skip Dodge. Skill building beer making, writing on this for today. I'm going to submit. And again, it takes me back where I can do my scoring. And I'm going through this real quick just to show you another way to write more documentation that's a little bit easier. When you are finished with your narrative that you're going to be practicing in just a few moments, I want you to do exactly what I did. I want you to type in how many attempts you think were made, how many successes you think you had, and then I want you to write a progress note. Again, the progress note is going to say what did you do to run the objective as outlined and what was the person's response to what you tried. Once you've documented all of that in TheraP, I want you to hit save. And when you get back to this page, instead of going to that enter more documentation or more data for this ISP, I want you just to come back to your dashboard. So when you're finished with your practice session, you need to end on this page, which is your dashboard, and then you need to come back to your window for the writing workshop training, and you need to push the arrow key to resume the training. All right, I hope that you have fun practicing this, and good luck.